What's going on, guys, and welcome back to part 3 of the Amazon Rio Negro build. So I am massively enjoying the build so far, but before we go any further, there's a few things that we need to do in preparation for the next stages, which is going to be the botanicals. Now, botanicals is just a fancy word for like leaf litter, like dead stuff from trees that falls on the forest floor. Now, what happens when the river floods is it comes over all these botanicals and just stains the water. You know, a bit like tea staining when you used to do that with like a map, pirate map, and like burn the edges. Maybe that was just me, I don't know. Was that a thing? I remember doing that. But yeah, basically that's what all these dead leaves do to the water. They tea stain it effectively. Now, I'm going to town with the leaf litter, but I'm also trying to take away a lot of that tea staining as well, just so you get the look, but without the completely dark water. I want a little bit of it for realism, but not like, I mean, the amount that I'm going to put in here would mean the whole thing would be so dark. Now, this leaf litter is completely dry, so we need to waterlog it so it sinks. And to do that, I'm just going to put it in a bucket, in a tub with a weight over the top just to hold it, you know, under. And then leave it a few days and then it'll be absolutely fine. Alternatively, you can boil it all and then that makes it sink straight away, but I don't have boiling stuff in my studio, and it's just, yeah, this is just easier because I can put it in later on. So all the botanicals are stewing. Now is a really good time to start all of our planting. Now, this whole front area here, nothing, well, it's very small, just a little bit of detail around this rock only, that's it. But then I want to have that area at the back. I'm going to raise it up a little bit more with some sand back there. I want that all to be where the sage goes. I'm going to have to manage it because it will try and grow everywhere, but that's okay, it's easy enough to do. And then I think that back area there will be good with the really good Amazon sword, and then that is it. This whole front area will be so covered in leaf litter, there's no point in even putting any plants there anyway. But I think that's going to give a really good sort of contrasting look and that natural leaf litter look for the foreground that I'm after. Actually, you know what? I'm thinking here is the big Amazon sword, because I want to have floating plants over in this section. I want to have, you know, the peace lilies and the monstera plant all around this top part of the trunk, sort of like the edge of the tree, and then the sage in the background on that area. Yeah, that'll work perfect. Let's put it right in there. And not to forget, all the plants are still down here with all the fish. Everyone's doing great. The plants are still doing great, actually, despite the fact that these seem to be wanting to grow out of the water. But yeah, there is a really nice Amazon sword. Look at that. Let's get that in. Right, here is the sword. Now, we don't need the roots that long, do we? So I'm just going to break them at that point there. Oh, there we go. Okay, so with a plant this size, we can't be using tweezers, can we? So we need to use our hands. Now, I need to dig a pocket out of that sandy section there. I can then put the roots right into it and then cover it back over, and that should lock it all in place. Use the stone as well that's there to sort of prop it up right a little bit in that whole area. Dig, dig, dig. There we go, that is a deep pocket. And I think it's going to be a good idea to stick like a single root tab in that sort of hole there as well. Oh, there we go, right in the bottom. There we go, look, right down in the hole there, we've got a whole root tab for the roots of that Amazon sword. Okay, we're lowering the sword. I think this is going to come all the way to the top, actually, of the tank. That's okay, it'll look wicked. Try to get it in very delicately. I don't want to snap anything or damage that root system at all. Oh, there we go, we're looking good. This leaf though, for instance, look at that. Just get rid, just chop it off, and follow it all the way down and cut it right down near the base there. It's not going to repair itself, it doesn't work like that. Plus, it's kind of like ruining that area, so yeah, cut it off. There we go, now for some of the pockets of sage. I'm not going over the top, I just want a little bit in that, and that. So it's a fair amount, but it's all to that back area and separated into sections, so it should look good. Now I'm going to lay it out down here because I want to see what's the longest versus the shortest. In lower light, the sage tends to grow higher. In higher light, like high powered light, the sage seems to carpet more and stay low. So I want those taller ones for the background areas and then the shorter ones down for this area in here. Click subscribe.
That is a lot. So see what I mean? Look how long that one is. That must have been in the background somewhere. Some really nice pieces here. Some are a bit tangly. To be honest, that's not even all of them. Look, I've still got loads left. So much of it. I'm gonna get these big ones in first though. And that, believe it or not, is all of the planting that I want to do for the underwater planting stuff. So normally I go very crazy, don't I? And just go everywhere. I'm keeping 2 plants, look, just the Amazon sword and the sage. I forgot actually, one more plant there, but same plants. So that is the little baby plant that grew off the mummy plant. I couldn't separate them, could I? This one will get massive. Let's not laugh too much. It'll get just as big. But I won't let it because it probably will spoil the look, but we'll let it grow quite a bit more anyway. So the way to keep your swords from just going crazy is you're supposed to cut off big leaves as they get to the top, and then new ones start coming out, and it just repeats and repeats from the inside out, But that just looks awesome at the moment. It should look even better when there's water in there and the water's being pushed that sort of way as well. Speaking of water, we should probably get this filled right up now because these plants will dry out quite quick. Oh, that is looking so good. It's looking even better than I thought it was going to. I'm so happy with how it's all turned out. It's looking brilliant. There's a few spots I've noticed that need some changing or protecting, especially that Amazon sword, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now, I've never created something as realistic as this, in my opinion anyway. I think this looks really, really realistic. I love how it looks. I love that realism look as well. More recently with some of my builds, I've been trying to get that sort of natural look a bit more often. It is my favourite way of doing things, and I just absolutely love how it turns out. Look at that. And the good thing about it as well is you can't really get it wrong, because you saw how sort of random I did everything, and yeah, as long as you've got enough of each piece of material, it sort of just escapes itself. So one of the areas I was worried about that I need to cover is there. Look, so that's just where literally the roots are right where the sand is meeting that Amazon sword. Now I'm worried the core is just going to move around it, eventually just expose it all, float up. So I'm going to put some of these smaller pebbles that I've got just in that area, and that should lock it all off then, and we should be okay. There we go, all sorted. That's looking better. That's not going anywhere now. So now it's time to start putting in the leaf litter that we prepared. Hopefully it's now waterlogged enough to stay sunk, but some of it might float, but you know, we'll just have to see. And here it is. Let me move that. Try again. And here it is. So that water's actually quite stained. I don't know if it's coming out on the camera. If I lift these off, hopefully it's going to stay down. Oh, good so far. Few that float, but they shouldn't come up too much. I've got a lot in here, so they're actually springing up, but I think they're going to stay down. Let's give it a go. Let's just get them straight in the tank. Right, I'm not doing this with any sort of specific idea. I'm just trying to cover up most of the sort of sanded areas. Now some of the leaves do still want to float. That's fine. We'll give them a day and it'll all be sunk, probably in places we don't want them to, so I'll have to move it all around again, but that's all right. Come on, stay down, stay down. Every time I lift up, you see, I create like a waft of water that lifts a load of them back up. Go on then, get that lot in there. You can try, sort of pin it underneath the wood as well. Maybe stick some sand on top of some of it as well. You need to remember to come back up slowly, because every time I'm coming up, look, it's lifting it all. Still got loads more leaves available, so that's good. This whole area needs lots. So over the course of the next day, these are going to release a lot of tannins into the water. We can remove those, don't worry too much, with some special stuff in the filter. We'll talk about that later on. But it's going to look so dark. Even within the next couple of hours, it will go like really murky. It tends to go murky first. Then the filters and that clear the murkiness, and what you're left with is just that pure tea stain. Some people love it, some people hate it. Personally, I'm only a real fan of the sort of tea-stained black water look if the whole tank is designed to be like that. So, you know, just like my Neon Tetra one, which I'll show you in a second. That one was designed to be fully sort of black water, no plants, and it works really well. I often find that if you've got plants and you try and add a little bit of black water, it can look just dirty. And that's what most people who don't know anything about aquariums would say as well.
There we go, I think that's worked out pretty good. It doesn't look too bad, does it? I mean, kind of leaf shaped. Yeah, let's go with it.
Right, it's now the next day, and as expected, the whole tank is looking like poo. As I said to you before, this is to be expected. Normally when you put a load of leaf litter into a tank, you get this sort of murkiness. It can take a few days to clear up, and then the tannins get released and all that sort of thing. But I don't want to wait a few days, so I'm just going to drain it out and re-flood it again. The same thing will probably happen until we add in the whole filter system, but that's okay because that'll be happening soon. You know, the fish going in, the floating plants, and all the immersed plants as well. All these things are going to help to just purify and clarify the water. I mean, that said, I do love how natural it is actually looking. If I come close like this, it's like you're in an actual, well, apart from the reflections, it's like you're in an actual river system somewhere. It's just it looks blurry, doesn't it? It's got that sort of blurry look to it. That's all those tannins being released. I don't know why it does that first, but it doesn't matter. We can get that sorted in no time. I'll tell you what, let's just do a really quick water change, down and up again, and then we can really see where we're sitting, or looking, how we're looking. I mean, how good is that looking? I'm really pleased with it. It looks so, I don't know, interesting. So much detail, there's lots going on. It's gonna look even better with all the fish coming in and out of all these different areas. Just a ton of interest. Loving the realism. Now the problem is, if we leave this stagnant water, and by stagnant I just mean it's, you know, sat still. There's no flow in there at all. We need to get some flow in, and also you can put a chemical into your filter to stop tannins being like sort of built up. It just binds organic stuff in the water. I don't know the science behind it. Just do a quick Google, there's plenty of them available. So I'm going to put a little power head up here that's going to have an organic waste remover and a little bit of a sponge in it. It's going to create some flow. Hopefully all the leaf litter doesn't just go everywhere. It might do until it sort of settles into its final plate. I don't know, I'll keep it low flow. I might in fact block the exit of the power head just to make sure that it's not going too fast. Okay, so far so good. You can see there's a decent amount of flow coming out there, pushing along. We've got the Amazon swords just sort of gently waving in the breeze. Now as we come down, we've got a little bit of movement so far. But let's be honest, the majority of it is all staying perfectly still. Exactly what we want. Oh, I've disturbed all that when I fill the tank up. I want to fill it in. I want it to be completely covered. In fact, I might even want to get more than this. What do you think? More leaf litter? Because if I go to my local river, I can pick up like oak leaves and things like that there. And they're already like really dark, so look more like the bogwood you can see in the background. I don't know, maybe I'll think about it. It might add some variation to the colours. These will go darker. And also they tend to break up quite a bit as well into smaller pieces as everyone rummages around them and as they break down. And then you get this awesome sort of mulm that goes on everything. That's when it really, really starts looking completely authentic and just like a natural river bed. Yeah. So that's about as far as we can get with this one, guys. It's gonna need a couple of days just to get really crystal clear, and then after that we can add in the new floating plants. I mean, I say new, I've used them in another skate, but I've never used them from the start before. Something that looks really cool. And then also we're gonna put the immersed plants in, so the peace lilies and the monstera plant, and then we can add our fish. That's going to be so fun. I can't wait for it. Make sure you hit the subscribe and like button and ding the bell as well so you get notified on the next episode. Catch you on the next one.